Hi, this is Richard Hawk Hawkins. Holomua. This is the second part of I guess it's going to end up being a three-part series on Buddhism in Mappo. Last session we talked about what the Buddhism is not a religion. We talked about it's a way of life. And the way I talk about things is in layman's terms. I don't understand why people feel that somebody has to be in, has these a set of parameters in order to look and feel spiritual. But you don't have to be that way. You don't have to be some, sitting on a rock and with, in total peace. Life is life, man. And Buddhism, as Shakyamuni talked about it, changes and adapts to people. Everybody can't be that way. I can't. You're your own person, and Buddhism adapts to that. You have to be a monk sitting in a damn tatami mat and they're under a statue of some Buddha from some far off land, to be able to connect to the spiritual part of the energy of the universe. That thinking's got to get the frick out the door, man. Buddhism is about bettering yourself. As a I really don't want to say as a person, because it's not necessarily a person thing. It's so hard. I don't know, how you start. Number one, and we've established that this is the Saha world, the world of suffering, and everybody that's here is either here to assist somebody else, or they're here because of their karmic circumstances that you've created in a past life that you don't remember. But when we talked about those 10 worlds, and you concentrate on the learning, the realization, the near enlightenment over years, you'll get to partially understand, or some people, understand clearly of why they are in the situation that they're in. So I guess a lot of people don't like taking responsibility for their life, A, and B, it's too far-fetched and you don't know what's going to happen. But hell, you can believe in an invisible being and say that when you die, you're going to go to a heaven that you're just going to be there forever and ever, and it's going to be great because you'll be with all the people that your loved ones. And oh God, come on. You don't get your shit together, you're just going to go round and round, man. It's going to get worse and worse. It's navigation. Well, what if we thought, let's just take the concept, because all this lives matter bullshit that's going around. Don't say that everybody's life. Yes, everybody's lives matter. Come on. But I don't even want to get into that. Talking about Buddhism. Does life really matter? Is life sacred? Friends, one of my teacher's daughter's friends, baby just freaking, a few months old, just died, man. 15-year-old boy here in Japan somehow acquired a gun, shot himself in the head. The guy's lived 77 years, and he accidentally trips and falls and train hits him. It's a fucked up way to die. So is life really sacred? Is it? I'll never forget the day at the Grand Canyon. I was getting gasoline, getting ready to go to work. There was a tour guide there. He lived out off the grid, and we come out, and this van just right there on the highway, Christian van, about 15 people, 14, 15 people in it, just freaking lost control. The guy could have pulled over. He was sleepy, I guess. And man, one person died. It was horrific. And they're all Christians and elder people, and just You know, they were all nice grandmas and grandpas, I bet, you know. And then they had to die that way? That's, life is sacred? Really? What if I said, you know, because, you know, birth, old age, sickness, and death, but death is really not, doesn't play a part in it, because death is just a transient. What if we were to say that death is when your life begins? And I kind of mentioned on it the last time. I have some ginger and garlic soup here that I make with some Carolina Reaper. You know what I mean? What if this was our chance to play in the game? And then during our transition, we're sidelined into energy. Then we get another chance to get in the game to improve. And I don't want to say ourselves, because I'm trying not to look at this as a person, as a people thing. Let's say, you know, work with me here. Just work with me here. Let's just for shits and giggles, okay? Take another drink of your soup or your sake or whatever you got going there. It's too early for sake for me here in Japan right now, so. Let's just say you took a generic being, okay, and you put that generic being in a situation, a neutral situation. They're going to be affected by whatever is around them, right? We all say that racism does not exist, because we've seen all kinds of cultural, little kids from all types of cultures all come together and play, and I don't give a shit what color you are, you be green. That green might freak them out. Racism is taught. So on the side of, you know, Buddhism, okay, for example, you were a woman and you were really fucking mean to men, or vice versa. So when you're born in the next lifetime, you're born with feelings, say you're a man, and you have very feminine feelings. There is nothing to say that you could not have been a woman in your previous life, and vice versa. So in the view of Buddhism, give a shit, you're male or female. If you're a man, you love a man, and you're a woman, you love a woman, good for you. Because it doesn't matter in the viewpoint from energy. And you just so happen to become a human. You know, here's a story for you. And I don't know if I'm going to tell it right, because I haven't read it in a long time. But there's a turtle at the bottom of the ocean. And it's funny that Buddhism talks about this turtle, because also Native American beliefs believe the earth was a turtle. So this turtle, once every 1,000 years, comes to the surface. So it makes its way to the surface. It's been sitting on the ocean. Number one, it wants to get a nice breath of fresh air. Fill its lungs before it goes down again. And you know, its tummy's been on that cold ocean floor, and it sure loved to get a little sun on its tummy. And its shell, you know, sand and stuff has been hitting it, and current and stuff like that, and other fish sit on it, and a little itchy. Sure like to scratch that shell. So it comes up to the surface, and what it's looking for in the vast ocean is a log. And it sees this log and has an indenture in it. And it climbs up on that log. And it flips over, scratches its shell inside the rough of the log. And the sun just beats down on its tummy, warms him just perfectly. He rolls off that log, goes back down to the ocean. Buddhism compares, true Buddhism, and I say true Buddhism is the Buddhism that's taught for this particular period of time. I'm not talking about Mahayana Buddhism. I'm not talking about Hinayana Buddhism. I'm not talking about Tibetan Buddhism or Dalai Lama Buddhism that's mixed with his religion. I ain't talking about all that shit. I'm talking about the Buddhisms that Shakyamuni actually said what's important for this frickin' period of this particular earth. This particular earth. Not another place. Here. Y'all gotta try that. One in 1,000 years, this turtle comes up to the ocean. Oh, that was the easiest part of this whole story. Because when he gets to the top, he's looking around, and where in the hell? I don't know how many of you ever... I never saw the ocean until I was 18 years old. You know. But you get to a point where you get up in the ocean, and you just look, it's miles and miles of water. I was in complete awe the first time I saw it. So to be able to say, hey, what do you know? It's a freaking log right there. It's like super, super rare. Can't even go there. And then that particular log just so happens to have a notch out of the middle so that turtle's shell, however big that turtle was, can fit in that log. How freaking lucky can we get? Turtle's got to climb up on that log now. You ever tried to climb up on a log in the middle of the ocean and the waves? What's the log do? It just spins. But that turtle, pretty badass because he got up there. And then, have you ever seen a turtle flip over? And then you get that far, and what if it's cloudy and rainy all day? What if the waves knock the log to where he falls back off and has to get back on, you know? Buddhism compares being born a human to everything happening perfectly in that story. How many things you had to go through and overcome just to be able to be born a human being. But we don't look at life like that, do we? Because we're born with rights, aren't we? So now that you're being born a human, you're subject to whatever karmic circumstances that you have accumulated, good and bad, right? To where you're going to be born, what situation and what obstacles you have to overcome in that particular life. So it's sad to see people that have disabilities. It's sad to see babies that pass on very early. It's sad to see someone live their entire life and then get horribly killed at the end of it. It's sad to see children starving and not be able to have food. It's sad to see countries that are self-righteous take children and put them in cages and then sexually abuse and neglect them. We all want what is good. We all want to have hope. We all want to make the best of our circumstances. But if you do absolutely nothing to change that, and you put zero effort into changing that, you cannot bitch about what comes back around. It always reminds me, I watch a lot of bounty hunter stuff, and I was a big dog fan until a certain issue happened, and now I'm a big Patty Mayo fan. But everybody got out of jail on a bond put up by their bond company. And if the bond company wouldn't have put up the bond, they would have never got out of jail. Then all they have to do is show up for their court date, and then they don't show up for their court date. And then the bail bonds company, all they had to do is call the bail bonds company and go, I don't got a ride, or I don't got this, or I need some help. But they ignore it. And then the phone calls start coming. What happened? What happened? We need you to come in. We need you to fix this. And then when they don't do that and they ignore all of that, then Patty shows up. And instead of walking out and saying, hey, fucked up. I'm sorry I didn't go. I'm really sorry I didn't answer your question. Damn sorry. God, I was an ass. All these chances were given. He still has to hunt them down. They're still hiding. And then when he catches them, they still try to fight, and they call him names, and they just, you know, like, he's the one getting them out of jail. This is this life's perfect example that you're going to live for however you're going to live. And you can believe in freaking grasshoppers if you want to. You can believe in the sun. You can believe in, you don't have to believe in nothing, which is a belief in nothing. You don't have to. You don't have to lift one finger to improve yourself. But then you're open to this again. Buddhism, you don't have to spend any money. I mean, there are temples. But, most Buddhist organizations will never let you donate if you don't have the money. But that's not what it's about. It's about you and the universe, period. It's you sitting wherever you're sitting. They say that the land, there is no pure and impure land. It's the people of the land that make it pure or impure. So good people, then the lands will be pure and protected. But if the people are impure, the land will be impure. That's why Israel, all that fucking place, it's just fucked. It's fucked. You get mad at me for it, but it's fucked. And, places, countries like Israel and the United States still continue to do really bad shit and still say they're self-righteous. But when you treat the poorest citizens of another country the way that American Israel treats people, you're gonna fucking get it. And if you don't say anything, for example, say we live in a kingdom, okay? We got a king, and I'm a lay dude. I'm just a lay dude. I just go in. I see the king every once in a while, but I'm not privy to what's going on in the kingdom's affairs. And then there's Bob, and Bob over here, well, he's up there, and he knows what the hell's going on. So Bob finds out that Joe has a plot to kill the king. Now, if he knows that information, then it's important for him to say something. So if all this is caught and they're going to ask who knew, well, Joe's going to freaking jail, or Bob's going to jail. They asked me, well, I don't know. But if he told me and I knew and I still didn't do anything, you understand? So if you're in your life and you don't come across anything that endangers your life, that's one thing. But if you get told or taught or an issue comes up that you don't take action, you don't say, I'm going to utilize that information to better myself, that may not come around again for 1,000 years. And you may have to be the turtle again that's 1,000 years at the bottom of the ocean. I'm not saying humans in this universe are the highest species, but humanoid, because the only, we see that other Buddhas are humanoid. But then again, they may be presenting themselves as that. I love the meme on Facebook that there's a big thing of the universe, like a pie. There's a little bitty sliver and says what we know. And then this one, another sliver, is a little bit bigger, says what we don't know. And the rest of us, what we don't know, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. So why not? The only thing that we know as a fact is that the universe has a vibration. And in what we know as a fact, that 2,600 years ago, there was a freaking guy that talked about that universal vibration. And we know that 2,600 years ago, this guy talked about major and minor world systems. You know, there was when you read Buddhist text, there's a measurement of, it's called a kalpa, K-A-L-P-A. Now, kalpa, can you sit down, please? You take our solar system. This is how it's explained. Meaning the sun and all the planets, you crush them to dust. You take off any direction, whatever you want to go. And every time you come across the major or minor world system, how it is explained, you drop one particle of dust. And you continue in that direction, and every time you see a major minor world system, you drop another particle of dust. And when you're done dropping all the frickin' particles of dust from the first particle to the last particle, and all those major and minor world systems in between, you crunch them up into dust, and you keep continuing out, and every time you see another major and minor world system, you drop a frickin' particle of dust. And you continue in that manner until every little particle of dust is gone. That's one caliper. What were they smoking, man? What were they taking? These stories I've told you've never heard before because you've never taken the time to listen to them. Again, I only came across this because I was trying to get a date from a young girl. Her name was Keiko. And I remember her family chanting, and I went to that house. She didn't want me to go. I had to go. I've got a lot of bad karma. My family has bad karma. Got a lot of good karma too. A lot of good fortune. You see that in every one of my children's eyes. You can see. But I'm still at 55, far away from being your spiritual being. Though I've been told I'm closer than most. But who knows? Nobody knows. All we try to do is do our best every day. And if part of that is being able to match the vibration of the universe for anybody that's Christian, shouldn't be a problem. Because Buddhism doesn't teach anything about gods. You can still do your thing and try. So the ultimate teaching of the universe, I will teach in part 3. Thanks everybody for attending. Again, 23 minutes, so thank you very much. And we'll move on to part 3 in a couple of weeks. Thank you.